Y'all, it's Delaney.
And it's Katie, and this is Classically Black Podcast,
where we talk all things classical music and being black in the profession.
with trap beats playing in the background. Are you excited for school to start today, sister? Well, when this episode comes out, it will be the first day of school.
Yep, so I guess it's the last episode we're doing. So. Just, my tear ducts are quivering.
Okay, relax.
You don't know what I went through.
I don't. I'm not even gonna pretend like I did.
Ain't no relaxing over here. We're traumatized.
But we're believing God for a better semester.
For you, I am. Yes.
I'm excited to be less busy. I mean, I still have to practice, and I have this podcast, and I'm teaching. I let go one teaching thing so that it doesn't free up too much, but like
it's too many engagements.
Literally too many
offers.
Relax.
Too many.
You're so annoying.
Wow. Anyway. Y'all, I'm just trying to get like Katie in 2019.
Okay, regressing in 2019. You opened the door, so I went through. But anyway, I'm excited to be less busy. I got y'all pray for me with this medieval music history.
But whose fault is that you in medieval music history, sister?
What you mean?
Didn't you decide?
Please respect my privacy. Please respect my privacy at this time. But I'm like, I of course I go to the course thing or whatever, and I'm like, so there's nothing left. I'm like, did they even relax? And I'm like, did they even have notes back? They didn't. I don't.
It's them little diamond thingies.
It's gonna be them little diamond thingies.
Mm-hmm.
Man, and after all that mess I talk about Josh Can Deprez, I would do anything to hear Magical by him. But now,
well, have fun hearing about stones against cave walls and
and sticks and mud and oh, Father God, be with me.
Strings made out of hair. Have fun.
Shut up.
Okay, we're rubbing rocks together. That's a symphony.
I'm ready to move on. You have any news this week?
So generic piece of news: the Met Opera announced a new director of music administration. So you can write to him and tell him to give Katie a job at the Met.
Relax.
Because her future is just so bright. My retinas are singeing.
People who are in the Met can play Don Juan without rushing.
Meanwhile, you can? Girl, I wish I could too.
Man, Melissa be oh shucks, I'm a miss rep class with Melissa.
I don't understand why Eastman is acting like bass players don't have orchestral rep. Why don't we have rep class?
Oh,
all the other strings winning auditions, us being like, I don't know her. Who is Strauss? Who is
Strauss?
Beethoven?
All right,
Mozart.
How did we get over here?
We want this. That's all I had to say was
congratulations, Matt.
Yeah, exactly.
My dude was like, I'm leaving to pursue my freelance career, and I was like, all right, go off then. I mean,
if you got it like that,
right? We stepping down from the Met. I didn't know.
Literally.
Okay.
That's the theme in this episode, because my next story is about a LA Phil violinist.
This one's cute.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it is. But just to be this secure and just to be this poppin'.
Right.
So violinist in the LA Phil, his name is Vijay Gupta. I actually met him when I played the Dittersdorf Concerto with a couple.
When you were a soloist with the LA Phil. Okay, on tour.
Okay, well,
Carnegie Hall debut.
Okay, Church in the Hood community outreach concert. You're not gonna lie on me on Sunday Eve. Shout out to Marco.
No, we will not be. We will not be doing. He is it's Sunday Eve. I'm like, are you? Just say Thursday.
No, but it was literally just a little really. But he was in the org show and I played that. Super, super nice. He's He won the MacArthur Fellowship earlier this year, which it included a $625,000
it's no
joke. Strings attached stipend.
But that fellowship, that's what Aaron Dorkin got, and you can't apply for it. You have to be recommended for it. So it's like some weird like Illuminati type junk where they just like seek you out and be like, oh man, like
recommend Classically Black podcast for MacArthur Grant, because we could do a lot with $625,000.
Right. I mean,
right.
Honey, what are we doing? But yeah, you have to be recommended for it. You can't apply, and it's like the truth, and like you get it in installments, but it's still $600,000.
Right. Strings attached. Like, wow. So basically, he's been he won his job in the LA field in 2007. He was 19.
Okay, but also times are different.
2007 is not that long ago.
Oh shoot, you said 2007?
Yeah. That's why I was like, when he was it said he was a teenager, I was like, but it said 2007. I was like, this wasn't like LA Phil in 1956 when you could just walk on, when you was like, oh, you can hold it up, not upside down, okay.
Right.
Okay, all the old heads coming for us in the comments.
Well, you had to what? Everyone plays viola well these days, okay?
Literally. Right, especially you.
I'm not even getting into that. Right. I'm not even getting into that.
Whole other episode. But he so he won the job when he was 19 years old, and he's been there for 11 years, and now he's stepping down from his position in the first violin section to grow his organization called Street Symphony, which has been they put on concerts for homeless people and on Skid Row, and it includes a lot of musicians from the LA Phil are also, helping him out with this, and they're actually moving to their very first office in downtown.
Oh, cool.
And they're moving from, because he was operating in his living room, and now he's it's so great. So like one of the things that he's trying to include, that he's going to include, is giving Skid Row musicians the chance to study for up to a year with professional musicians.
Oh, nice.
Like, that reminds me of, I don't know if you ever heard of this, that Juilliard graduate, he was a black guy, and he was having like mental issues. He graduated from Juilliard and ended up like on the street.
Yeah, I heard about that.
And Jamie Foxx played him in a movie. Yeah, like that's what, like, there's probably people who are like talented, they don't have the help that they need, like, and they're going to get it through his program. It has it's planning an event in mid-July where it's going to be a block party, and they're going to have different ensembles, and it's going to be held in conjunction with the Midnight Mission on Skid Row. And he will also be he's still like in and out of LA Phil, like I think he's going on tour with them as like a guest artist. And he's also going to be a guest lecturer at Juilliard starting like I think this month, and he's also going to continue teaching class. He teaches a class at Colburn. But this is just like absolutely awesome. I'm so excited to see what he's going to, like, how this is going to grow, and like it's going to take off. I mean, MacArthur, like you said, you can't apply for that. Like you have to.
It's going to take off, especially with like the enthusiasm and the drive he's had and what he's accomplished thus far. Right. And now he has like the monetary support, the MacArthur name behind him. Is just
LA Phil behind him. Like I'm sure that, like, because some of their musicians are in the actual thing, so like they're supporting him. He has these huge names. This publicity. Like this is going to be huge. But
I'm excited to see what this becomes. All right, so now we are back. We have a very special guest today. We are here with ThatViolaKid, Drew Alexander Forde.
What's up? How y'all doing?
How's it going, Drew?
Hey, good. I'm good. This weather is ridiculous.
Listen, because
LA.
I don't even know what Eastman's gonna look like when we get back. It's going to be
under snow.
It's literally. It doesn't make sense. Like it snows so much in Rochester. Yeah. It snows every day.
And then there's also nothing to do except drink coffee and alcohol. I auditioned for Eastman twice, like for undergrad and grad, and I like visited for grad school, and I was like, yo, I don't know, man. I don't know if I can do this.
There's the Genesee River. Like it's green.
Oh, that's lovely. So St. Patty's Day, y'all be turning up. Like,
exactly. And the day after, and the day before.
And the day, yeah.
And there's the let's move on.
Because we will go all day if you let us.
Beautiful segue. Gotta tell you, it was clutch.
All right, so we have some questions for you. We want to get to know you a little bit. So why don't you just tell us about yourself?
Tell me. Okay.
It's like a very vague, but
yeah,
we got to start
tell
somewhere.
us about yourself. Well, I like long walks on the beach. The color orange.
So that's
I
nice.
was born in September.
That's nice.
September 29th. I'm a Libra.
Wait,
Libra gang.
Yeah.
Relax.
Oh, Are you
Relax.
October?
Yeah, October 17th.
17th?
Wait, when's your birthday?
September 29th.
What? It's my mom's birthday.
No way.
Shout out to Ina. Hey, mommy.
Hey, what's good, mama?
All right.
But anyway, yeah. So, I'm from Peachtree City, Georgia. I was born in Atlanta, and then I moved down there when I was 1.5. It's the land of golf carts. If you want to know about Peachtree City, Georgia, just do a quick Google search. We're a very unique city. Hundreds of miles of interlocking golf cart paths that connect neighborhoods, businesses, schools. So from age 12, I was driving to the store to pick up groceries for my mom, driving by myself.
On a golf cart.
Just
wanted to clarify.
Yeah, driving on a golf cart.
Oh, wow.
I would take girls on dates on golf cart.
I mean, if your man is not.
If your man don't have a golf cart,
Hey,
what are you
look,
doing, sweetheart?
Look, if he's not mobile, you just kick him to the curb. You know what I'm saying? No, what was really cool was in the summers, Georgia summers are notoriously unbearable. 100% humidity. We're talking 99, 98 degrees. We're talking field work, on the plantation picking the cotton.
It's a smooth and resounding no from me.
Yeah, it's not the move. But the cool thing about these golf cart paths is that they have tree canopies, like they're in the woods. So they connect golf courses to neighborhoods. So you're driving behind neighborhoods in the shade. You take the windshield down and you have the wind hitting your face. It feels like it's 70 degrees. It feels so good. And when the leaves turn in the fall, it is some of the most beautiful experiences I've ever had in my life, So I love that. That's how I grew up. A very sheltered community. They call it the bubble. Because not a lot goes on there, it's a great place to grow up. You got really nice families, upper middle class. Many of the parents they work for Delta. Delta is like the big airline in Hartsfield-Jackson.
Yeah.
Hartsfield-Jackson's is the busiest airport in the world. So that was the kind of upbringing I had, and so being in that middle class family. I had a very different upbringing than a lot of my contemporaries. And so I find that, being an African American and going into classical music, it made sense to me because my family had access. For a lot of African American families, that is not the case. And so that's why you don't see as many black faces on orchestras. So
access, opportunities. I mean, it's a
and social verification, seeing other people that look like you doing it. We like to think that you can be anything you want to be, but when you have a child who is just learning about the world, perception is everything.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
think we're always about you could be whatever, you can do whatever you want to do. The world is your oyster, but in a lot of cases, those people don't see that. Those are just things people say. They don't see the proof. Therefore, it's really hard to believe. So that's why I think what you guys are doing is so important. And I applaud you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So you talked about your bubble. You talked about where you grew up. How did you get into the viola? Wait. Let me make sure. Are you an OG?
I'm an OG.
Hey, OG, stand up. It's like
look,
me, you, and 3 other people.
I mean, if Slytherin were the violists, I'll be a pure blood. You know what I'm saying?
Listen,
hey,
we holding it down.
hey, 100%. So
Real
12 years
recognize
old.
real.
So
Listen.
real recognize real. If
Shut up,
you know,
Delaney.
you know. If you know, you know. So 12 years old, started in 6th grade, public school, just like everybody else. Played hot cross buns, lightly rolled.
Trouble Laments?
Trouble Laments. Oh, that was lit. I remember that
was
about
lit.
Trouble Lament. That was like
Twinkle Variations. I got you.
Listen, number 57, Essential Elements. I would never forget Trouble Lament. What a bop. It's
no, for real. It's modal laugh, you know.
Okay, come to my recital. Here's Trouble Lament.
Yeah. So, you know, I was very motivated. I was very competitive, and I was mostly motivated by trying to get in the advanced orchestra with the hot girls. Like that was like the thing.
Get your motivation wherever you need.
No, if you a dude, I'm telling you, the cute girls are always in the advanced orchestra class. Go practice, bro.
Meanwhile, we were in low orchestra lit though.
Yeah, hey, you know, y'all have more fun. I will say that.
Low orchestra has more fun.
Low orchestra has more fun for sure, because y'all barely even play. You'll just like cut up in class.
To clarify, I was in the low orchestra for fun on violin because I'm not gonna have people thinking I'm out here. But I always had way more fun playing violin in the low orchestra than I had playing viola in the top. I'm just saying.
I mean, yeah,
not barely play.
Because viola, school viola, being a violist in school orchestra is the most depressing thing ever. It's the most depressing. You maybe bass. I can see bass being just as depressing. No, because you're playing whole notes. And offbeats. You never have melodies.
Never.
So I was motivated to not, because I'm a competitive person. I was like, yo, I'm better than quarter notes. Like, I can do this. Like, put me in, coach. So I was like looking at Suzuki books and things like that. And I eventually started getting better at viola. And then I wanted more. I wanted more than just to waste time in orchestra class every day. And so then I was told about this program of the Atlanta Symphony Orchestra called the Talent Development Program, the TDP. You familiar with it?
Yeah.
I'm a product of the TDP. So 8th grade, I went to Allstate for the first time, and I met a girl named Chelsea Sharp. You know Chelsea?
I know Chelsea.
Chelsea and I go way back. She was a 7th grader. She was concertmaster of the 6th, 7th, 8th grade All-State Orchestra. What year is 2005? 2005. So I met her and her dad. Shout out to Earl Sharp. He ran back to his car, got some information, gave it to my mom about this talent development program. And so I auditioned for talent development program. I got in, and I got a teacher with the ASL. So that was a big turning point. And then I just practiced, went from the Metropolitan Youth Orchestra freshman year to the Atlanta Symphony Youth Orchestra in 10th grade, 10th through 12th. So that's where I got a lot of my training. Also, shout out to Rhonda Respis with the Franklin Pond Chamber Music Orchestra. It was a summer festival of Atlanta Symphony Orchestra musicians that taught chamber music. And it was moment that I realized I wanted to be a professional musician. I wanted to be a classical chamber musician, because there's nothing better. I'm sorry. Rock bands, but string quartets are the OG rock bands, and you cannot beat that repertoire.
We got chamber music buff right here. Like, the lady stands.
And I'm fighting for it because, my instrument is just not really conventional. I'm fighting for it. Like,
have you ever played the Vaughan Williams bass?
No, you did not just if I don't hear about this piece one more time.
It has some of the best viola lines ever.
I will never shut up about it. Katie's like,
nobody knows about it. It's so slept on.
It's daily though.
I love that piece. I want to play it so bad. I've never played it.
You never played it?
No.
I played it in undergrad. It was a transformative experience. Vaughan Williams is slept on, man. It's like Brahms. It's like English Brahms.
It literally is.
Straight up.
It's so... Yeah.
All right.
Melodies.
Everyone relax.
Look, okay.
You don't get it.
We need to back away for a second from the chamber music discussion, because I will not stop. Stop.
I just don't think you understand. It's been months.
It's been months
since she's been talking about this piece.
Okay.
She settled for the Prokofiev. She did the Prokofiev.
Yeah, I've never heard that one. So you have to put me on that.
It's violin, viola, bass, oboe, clarinet. It's funky.
Oh wait, no, I have.
Yeah.
No, I have. At a summer festival, I have heard that.
Yes.
Yeah. I think, did I play it?
It's funky.
I played a movement. It was such a long time ago, and it was like only for like a couple days.
But
I'm gonna have to reintroduce myself. Thank you. I usually don't listen to Prokofiev.
Yeah, me neither.
Oh, tell me more.
Katie does not like Prokofiev.
His chromatic displacement just didn't
It's
work
not
with
working
me.
for me. You did your
It's not
best. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's like it's a cello sonata. I just fall asleep. I'm just like, oh, okay.
I might give him the first move in the classical symphony.
Yeah, no, that's Liddy.
Maybe.
It's hard,
I mean, it
though.
depends what day is today.
I had to use that. That was an excerpt of mine for the LA Chamber Orchestra, and it was hard. I think that's why they cut me.
Okay, I'm not gonna expose who. Okay, but I go to Eastman, so you know who taught the class. But she gave us that excerpt. Like she's like, "Oh, I forgot to give it to you, so you could just do it 2 weeks." And then she killed me because she emailed my friend and I like 2 days before the final like mock audition for the final. She was like, "So you guys have been taking it significantly under tempo," and I'm like,
Hey,
"You gonna get whatever's gonna come out of these FOs."
look, these string crossings, homie.
I can't
faster
relate.
you go, the sloppier they get.
Listen, like,
I don't know what to tell you.
honey,
We literally just have downbeats. That
Hey.
whole symphony.
and that's
You
why
know
you
what?
like it.
God bless. God bless
Meanwhile, I'm
downbeats.
sweating.
We need to get back to his
How did we
question.
get here? I don't.
Yeah, let's go.
How do we get-
Let's go.
Okay,
so
so
you
you
kind of
said-
get a little bit about me.
You
That's a
said
little bit
that the camp you went to was transformative. Was there a specific moment at that camp, or was like the entire experience was like, oh no, this is it?
It was a gradual thing. Being with people my age that also were very serious. This was the first time I was surrounded, very close proximity, rehearsing with people that actually. Is this a clean podcast? Clean-ish. Okay,
Yeah,
it's fine. It's fine. They actually cared. They cared
Say what
about.
you want.
Nah, I mean, it depends. I follow suit. I'm a sailor, but
But just know that if you start turning up,
yeah,
we
I turn
will.
up. Okay.
And
Nah, they just gave a fuck about
Okay.
it. You know what I'm saying? They
I
gave
didn't know that's what he was doing.
they practice. Like
Right.
it's just the small things. And I was the worst player in the room, and I love that.
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
crave it. If you're the best player in the room, you're in the wrong room.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's what my
absolutely.
teacher told me
In the
before I went to
wrong room.
Eastman. Yeah.
And don't ever arrive. I see people every day that arrive, and it's just because they don't have a perception of how deep does the rabbit hole go? Do you know? Do you know?
The camera.
You don't know. If you think you good, you don't know how deep this thing goes.
Literally.
It's always off-putting to me where people will be like, every once in a while you'll be like, man, that sounded good. Like, oh, I did that.
No,
But people
and you
who
need
like
to.
stay in that mindset, like
Yeah.
when you meet people like that, it's scary. It's like,
Yeah,
oh,
that was the cruise
okay.
ship for me.
It was what?
That was the cruise ship for me.
Really?
Yeah, the people I worked with on the cruise ship, there were 2 people that were of the same mindset as me, but the other 2 were okay with sounding like shit. And I'm like, 4.5 months of working with people that just didn't even understand or grasp the concept that the way they were playing was incorrect rhythmically. And when you were like, hey man, can we work through this? No, it was fine. You guys are messing up.
That's ridiculous.
No, that's
You're
ridiculous.
playing the wrong rhythms. I know because I'm looking at the score and you're doing it wrong. If you just, and I don't like telling people they're wrong.
However, somebody has to. Like we can't.
But
keep
it's the way
on
you
this.
say. If you should
Yeah.
understand though, by me saying it's like, hey, this isn't quite lining up. Can we do this together?
Exactly. There's always a
Maybe
way
that's
to
a
say
hint that
things.
you should analyze, because I'm analyzing what I'm doing. I think I'm right, but I'm gonna break it down, subdivision by subdivision, make sure it lines up. If it doesn't, my bad. Okay, that was me. I was sorry. I got it now. We're good. Let's move forward. Right. But if people don't go into that zone of like introspection and like, maybe I'm wrong here, let me just take a moment, maybe I'm wrong, that is not an artist. I'm sorry,
Right.
That's not an artist.
I had I know a bass player, he was playing in Germany and he was assistant principal, and the principal player, he said it was almost as if he fell out of love with what he was doing because he was not a good bass player anymore and didn't care to get any better. And that's like such a scary mindset. You don't even care to improve. Like,
well, I think that's actually okay. Here's the deal. We as musicians, we get into this zone of like, everybody should be a musician. Everybody should love it. No, if you don't want to get better, that is the moment. The moment you're okay and you're done, that's the moment you cease to be an artist. Right? And that's okay. It's okay to put it down and do something else, please.
But do something else and make room for the people who want to be here.
That's because he was just creating friction within the section. It's just you have to be honest with yourself with what you actually want to do, you know?
Get the fuck out.
Right.
No, if you don't want to be about that life, cool. I'm going to give you a hug. I'm going to shake your hand, look you in the eye, and say thank you for the experience. Right. And then get the fuck out so somebody else can come and we can grow together.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I agree.
Yeah. Paging every American orchestra ever.
We're going to add all of them in the description.
All y'all music directors, you heard it here first.
No, put me in, coach. I will work harder than
Listen.
Look at me. I'm hungry. I got to pay my bills. Okay.
So what are some of the things that you changed, like, personally in your life when you decided to pursue music?
I stopped prioritizing what people thought about what I did. So
that's a word right there.
No, for real. Because, like, orc dorks were a thing. But I was like, if I'm going to be an orc dork, at least I'm going to do my best to be litty. You know what I mean? Like, let's just go define litty. So
I said something trifling.
Oh, no, it's all good. No, we up in here. No, like, for real. Because, like, people they look at me and they say I'm a musician, and the first thing they ask is, are you a rapper? And I'm like, now I say yes.
Right.
Do you play sax? Are you a singer?
Singer, I get a lot.
I get singer a lot, but that's another conversation and that's another episode.
Because every African-American female is a church gospel singer.
And there's nothing wrong with being a vocalist. However, don't assume that I'm a vocalist just because I go to conservatory and I'm black. Like, it's just so tired.
Well, that just means we have work to do, because how many African-American artists are classically trained? Think about it. How many? Very few. So it's a perception thing. Like, we just got to change it. We got to inspire more people to do it, and it'll fix itself. But we have to tell people it's okay.
Right.
It's okay to do it. The water's fine. Come on.
Exactly.
We exist here. Because here's the deal. Our human nature, we want to conform. We want to be around people that look like us, that have the same background. We want to resonate with them. But if the people that we want to resonate with aren't doing a particular activity, we, by and large, don't find that appealing because we want to fit in. But if we, like, show perception, like, no, black people are not monolithic. We do a lot of dope shit in a lot of different ways. We do everything. And the internet, God bless the internet, it allows us to find each other.
Yeah.
And then group together and clump. And then when you see a group of black people playing Brahms, it's like, oh, wait, that's kind of fire. Hold on, I'm gonna give it a chance. Let me listen. Oh, they're good. Man, could I do that? Could my son do that? Could my daughter do that?
Right.
Is that a way out the hood? Is that a way to get, that sustainable lifestyle, that isn't a basketball or a microphone?
Right. Yeah, because don't even get me started on the perception, especially because I'm a bass player. I don't play jazz at all.
You should, though. Everybody should.
But I've tried it. It's just not for me.
It's literally a lost cause. Like, I took an entire semester on improvisation.
Oh, but that's not how you learn jazz.
But listen, Drew, you're not listening. It's just not. I need music.
I disagree. I think every musician at the core, you evolve into a jazz musician. Because what is a jazz musician? A free thinking, composing on the spot, I think, is the pinnacle. Because, like, when you know your scales, every single scale in every single mode, and you have that language in your fingers, it makes you a better classical musician.
I'm sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Have you heard a jazz musician play classical? It's dumb. They play everything in tune because all they do is practice scales. I think classical musicians are among the only musicians that just don't sit and practice scales for hours.
Wait, hold on. I do hour scales before I warm up.
No, I know, but the majority, like, let's be real. I've only started practicing scales for the first time since high school.
Wait. You just now started practicing?
Started again. I practiced. Yeah, trying to get into college. I practiced, but I didn't practice scales in college.
Really?
No.
Mr. Taylor be down my neck.
No,
like,
good. But that's not something my teachers prioritized.
Yeah.
It was like
Mr. Taylor's like
how
whole
do you,
lesson is
it was
scales.
technique. It was this.
Yeah.
And scales were the tool that they just trusted you did. But I mean, if I didn't have to, they didn't make us play scales in studio class, so I didn't do it. You know, I didn't see the value. Nobody sat me down and was like, if you want to do other genres, scales are the only way you're going to be able to do it. Nobody told me that. Because to play classical music, I just got to read the notes. I'm a drone. I'm a robot. You put a sheet of music in front of me, I'm going to play it. That's it.
That's an interesting mindset because like a lot of this discussion we have in our studio is like you'd be like, okay, I'm going to play the second suite or whatever. So Mr. Taylor would be like, well, have you been doing D minor? Have you been doing A minor? Like he literally won't hear anything until he hears like scales, arpeggios, third, sixth. Like, he will not. Yeah. So it's just different. It's like interesting. I'm not like judge. I'm just saying it's interesting to hear that perspective. Also, my fingers literally feel like plastic if I don't start with like an hour of scales.
I mean. I didn't mean. I guess I know,
I'm not like. No.
Just my perspective is like the value of scales is still underestimated.
No,
and nobody
absolutely.
sat me down and told me why. Nobody sat, because like if somebody would have literally sat me down and said, okay, so here's Miles Davis, and this is a piece in D sharp, and all he's doing, this beautiful solo that you're listening to that sounds simple but is really jazzy and complex, he's just playing the sharp 11 on every chord change. That's it. But in this mode, the sharp 11 of the Mixolydian, G Mixolydian or whatever. Look, but see, that's really knowing scales. That's really knowing.
I mean, I'm talking about the 24.
Oh, look, but see, I'm listening to just even Bach, the D minor. He's building all these chords on sevenths. They're seventh chords.
That is true.
They're not triads.
Yeah.
And in our, classical common practice era education, triads is the extent of the theory we get. Jazz theory is what really influenced people like Ravel and Debussy, whole tone scales, the octatonic scales with Tchaikovsky, and it's just, there's so much more.
Yeah, for sure.
So.
Right.
Okay, I'm done.
You saw what happened to my jury when I stopped practicing my scales. You saw that.
I have no comment.
But I did fine without scales forever, but I feel like scales are making me a better player. I just have more access to tools at any given moment. Yeah.
Okay, so why That Viola Kid? How'd you come up with it? How'd you brand yourself? Tell us about that.
It didn't start as a brand. So what I think stuff evolves into a brand if you stay consistent. Consistency creates a brand. Consistency. So I was in high school and I did a talent show, and I won it in junior year. So a lot of the younger kids, they knew me. They didn't know who I was. They just saw me at talent show or heard about me, and I like played the viola. It wasn't like the violin. So like around school, like right after talent show, people were like, "Hey, you're like that viola kid, right? That guy who played viola, right?" I was like, yeah. And so when I was in college. I was a freshman in college, and I was bored out of my mind. And kids in my dorm, Plunkett Hall, shout out to Plunkett Hall, you musty ass, leaking ass freshman dorm. Anyway, at Mercer University. But they were all playing this game called League of Legends. And so I had to make a gamer tag for that. I was like, what should it be? And so I used to watch this show called Attack on the Show. It was on an old channel called G3, which is like for video gamers and stuff like that. And they used to have this segment called Gadget Prawn, which is just pretty much gadget porn, tech porn, or whatever, like the new phones that were coming out. And I used to watch it all the time. And the guy they used to bring in for the segment was this guy named Chris Gore. And his Twitter handle was that Chris Gore. And I was like, that's actually kind of dope. So I play viola, and my friend had a gamer tag called Some Random Kid that I used to play Halo with. So I was like, what if I was like that viola kid? Oh, and that's what people used to call me back in high school. Okay, that viola kid, done. 2009, done. Locked it out, made the email, yada, yada, yada. And then I was just that viola kid in League of Legends for like 4 years. And then my senior year of college, I was like, what am I gonna name my Instagram? Because these cute girls are like, hey, do you have Instagram? Do you take pictures? I want to see. And I was like, oh, I just got a smartphone. Let me just download Instagram so I can talk to these ladies. And what am I gonna name it? ThatViolaKid. And I just kind of stuck with it. And then the rest is history. I became aware of a guy named Gary Vaynerchuk. I started reading some of his books, and I was like, oh, snap. He's right. If I want to have a career where I play chamber music or I play solo, or even if I do orchestra, people are going to need to know who I am. You know, how do I do that? I give value. Okay, let me just figure out what do I have that people need? Okay. Make some videos, take some photos. I'm gonna like share some tips while I'm going through school. I'm gonna document my audition to go to Juilliard. Okay, let me do that. And so it kind of snowballed, and then eventually it became what it is now. And I don't even know what it is yet. I'm still figuring it out.
So tell us about life after grad school. Like, what's a day in the life of ThatViolaKid?
Triggered.
No, actually, this past year, I've been like battling depression. I think there's like a post-school depression that sets in, and I've been talking to a lot of my friends who are all going through it. Because when you're in school, you're around a lot of talented people. You're around a lot of driven people, and you're playing incredible music. When you leave school, you go and you play in the subway. Or you go and you play some background gig at a cocktail party with players that haven't practiced in years. Or you go play a fashion show with players, who don't, who don't care like you do. And then you find yourself consistently among the best in the room. And then it's like, is this all there is to it? Is it all these people, they hate what they do. They hate play. All I'm doing is playing whole notes. Yes, I'm getting paid, but I'm playing whole notes behind Josh Groban, man. What? Mm-hmm. I could have done this with a high school diploma. Like, what is the $77,000 worth of student debt?
Let's not talk about student debt.
So it's all these different things. All of my friends are getting married or having children or in whatever order. They're buying houses. So, and I'm sitting here practicing scales in my room, wondering if I can pay rent next month. So, the social media thing doesn't make money for me yet. So I feel like I wasted all this time, and now I got these bills looking at me. And it's like, how do I make this a living? And so it just becomes overwhelming. So that's what the past year has been. Just a bunch of overwhelming, diffuse, lacking structure, just unsure of what to do. I have so much to do, but what do I do first? What is going to be the right direction? Is there such thing? So it's been a very philosophical diatribe of just like, bleh.
But I had a viola teacher one time tell me, like, literally the best piece of advice I've ever gotten, which is the plan is that there's no plan. So you kind of just float through and work
scary.
hard. It's scary, but it's also like reassuring. It's like, I don't know what's going to happen, but I know I'm working hard and something is going to click someday as long as I keep working.
The best decision is the decision itself.
I missed that one. The best decision is the decision itself.
This is the decision. Just when you make the decision, that's the best one. And then it'll take you where you need to go. And maybe it's a dead end. But then, I have a million other decisions that I can make.
Yeah.
Let's do that one. This one didn't work. That's okay. I got something from it. I learned. Okay. And that's why I think hip hop is so dope, because I have so many things and experiences that I want to talk about as an adult male. And I started this as a young adult. I started this when I was 23, and I was still a kid, but I really now feel like a full-fledged adult for the first time in my life. And so I have adult things that I want to talk to people, but I've cultivated this audience that tends to be younger. So I'm trying to figure out, how can I tell my story in an unfiltered, raw way that people resonate with, but also the people that have followed me and that are growing up with me can resonate with. And I just don't feel comfortable, on my Instagram putting all my personal life out there.
Yeah, I feel you on that. Mm-hmm.
But on a track, I think it's just different.
So tell us more about your hip hop. How you got into that?
Oh man, I've always loved hip hop. I didn't understand it for the longest time, and so I only liked certain types of hip hop. I grew up listening to Outkast, Black Eyed Peas. Those were like the two groups that I really. And we're not talking like Monkey Business, Black Eyed Peas. We're talking Ella Funk, like dirty Black Eyed Peas. That first album when Fergie really was singing her ass off. You know what I mean? And Andre 3000 and Big Boy, Outkast, Bombs Over Baghdad, Miss Jackson, The Love Below, Speaker Box. Like we're talking, those are the sorts of things that I grew up with. And so, but I used to love to rap along to it, but like I was a classical musician and I didn't really grow up with black friends and I didn't understand hood rap. I didn't understand gangster rap. And so I kind of put that on the shelf. But then when I was in high school, I started listening to like lo-fi and like old school. We're talking like, I was listening to like Tupac and Biggie for a little bit. That boom bap, the golden age of hip hop. But still just Pandora. Nothing crazy. Yeah. Just dabbling. And then when I was when I was in college, I became aware of Childish Gambino. Mm-hmm. And like, I would say he's the catalyst for me wanting to be a rapper because he was rapping about literally the things that were going in my brain. Right. Atlanta, Stone Mountain. He was born in Atlanta. I was born in Atlanta. He's rapping about not feeling like he belongs to a black community. Yes. Like people ostracize him. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh my God, that's me. He's rapping about liking Asian girls. Oh my God, I like Asian girls too. So it's like there's so much. And also just like this feeling of trying to be something more. Oh, sizzle. I guess we cooking. Sorry. but anyway, yeah. So it was that desire to. He made it okay. I realized that it was okay from him, and it took me almost losing my mind on the ship with the frustration day in and day out, 3 shows a night, 6 nights a week with people that could not get along. And so my outlet was listening to hip hop. I actually for the first time was listening to the words they were saying. I just like the beats, because I'm in music. I like the beats. Yeah. But I listened to what they were saying and I was like, holy shit, there's so much more to this. Yeah. And I was like, oh my God, okay. This is it. This is where I can make authentically my music.
That's awesome.
Thank
That's
you.
yeah.
Thank you so much.
Because I'm hearing like all these different things. Like I used to, even though I was in 6th grade, what was I doing? I used to listen to a lot of Childish Gambino, and so like all of the, just like all the things that you're talking about, especially gangster rap too. Yeah. Like, cause I'm from here. I'm from Inglewood. Okay. So like all of all the LA references, like Tupac, NWA, like.
Yeah. Right. Oh, I love NWA.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
They're becoming culturally relevant again with police brutality. Yeah. So that's really fun. And the essence of gangster rap and the fact that it was reporting what was going on in the inner cities, and the fact that they were reporting it to middle class white America for the first time. Yeah. Drugs, violence, police brutality, like that was really cool. Yeah, they were really speaking straight to an audience without the middleman, and I'm all about cutting out the middleman because the middleman can tell you no.
Right. Yeah. And they were not taking no for an answer. NWA was like, we don't care. We don't care. Like, y'all can stay mad.
Exactly. I throw it on a track and I hope you get the spirit because I don't want to be alone. I don't want to be alone. I don't want to be alone.
Oh, yeah. That used to be my shit.
Oh, that EP is hard for pitchfork, soft for a Rockefeller. Music was my side chick, but now we're moving in together.
Meanwhile, I was 12 singing that. What was I?
Yeah, Freaks and Geeks. That was really transformative because this guy didn't dress hood. He wasn't hood. He was just a dude.
Right, exactly.
Who happened to be black.
I don't know if you've ever heard The Last. Have you heard The Last?
The Last?
By Childish Gambino.
What is what is that from?
Super.
What is it from?
I don't know. It came out in like 2010. Like
2010. Was it from Sick Boy, Poindexter, Royalty, Kauai, Stone Mountain?
I don't know.
Okay.
Because
I'll
like
look for it.
I stopped listening to music, like recent music, in like 2011. So like,
really?
Yeah,
it's weird to me.
How do you survive?
Because my like genre of music that speaks to me outside of classical music is like Motown, old school R&B. I like a lot of Stevie Wonder. I listen to a lot of like Jackson 5, Temptation, stuff like that. Like
good stuff.
Yeah, stuff that like my mom would have been like listening to when she was my age or something.
Sure.
Because like what she played in the car. So like I don't know, like after like early 2000s R&B, like Confessions, like all that kind of stuff, I just sort of fell off and kept listening backwards instead of like.
That's great. You need to tell me some good soul records that I need to chop up. Oh,
absolutely.
And sample.
Like
no, we need to have that conversation. Yeah. Tell me, listen to this album. Okay, all right, cool, bet. Let me chop it up. But yeah, that's I resonate with that because like being in school, you both are in school still.
Yeah.
So when you're in school, I didn't listen to a lot of music when I was in school because it was my life.
Right.
I'm so happy you said that. I literally like said that. I always feel weird for saying that, but I actually didn't stop feeling weird until I was watching a documentary of a ballet dancer. She's a Brazilian ballet dancer. And she said like once I leave the studio, I don't think about ballet. And I was like, I thought I was weird for I don't listen to as much music as I probably should, just because I'm playing viola all day and I sometimes I just want to sit in silence.
150
I just
want to
sit in silence.
Life is about balance. Life is about balance. How are you gonna? If you're obsessed with something, you fill your life with it. I feel like people who do, they're the exception, not the rule. The people are like, all I do is listen to classical music and I practice 8 hours a day. And I'm like, okay, cool, bruh. Like,
good luck.
Are you okay?
Are you good?
Are you good though? No, and some people are wired like
what we
that.
doing?
I need balance because the more time I spend away from music, the more I love it. Because when I do spend time with music, I'm 100% plugged in. And it has every fiber, every cell, every mitochondrial adenosine triphosphate is going towards.
You was nuts. I had your mitochondria.
Mitochondrial adenosine triphosphate is going towards every modicum of energy.
That biology kid.
Look,
science kid.
Look. I wanted to be Neil deGrasse Tyson for a little while.
Right. Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah.
I'm a nerd, man. I don't have friends.
Listen, there's nothing wrong with that. That was a lot of words for me.
Look, I'm trying to be more creative because that helps with writing. Like if I can just drop a random science term and it rhymes with something, you just win, right? You just win.
While rappers rap, they rhyme the same words.
Yeah.
Like you cannot rap.
I ain't got no patience because I'm not a doctor. Okay, how many times I've heard that Mac Miller used that one. Did you ever see that video where Eminem was with Royce da 5'9" and he was like, okay, these are the things you cannot relate anymore. If you are a doctor, you can't run out of patience. That is done. That is cliche. That is whack. I am telling you right now. Like different things you can't rhyme anymore. It was funny. It was a funny little video. But anyway, yeah. Gotta be creative. Think about it differently. You know?
So tell us about your experience being Black in classical music and any adversity that you've encountered.
I really haven't received much adversity because I think out of everything I can do in my entire life, being Black makes this classical music thing a little easier, actually, because we're so rare and people do. Diversity is the buzzword of the 21st century, right?
Yeah.
So like if I come somewhere just prepared as my white or Asian counterparts, people are way more hype about it than if I were white or Asian. Because they're like, oh, this guy. But so I have that advantage, right? And I love that because most of the time as an African American, I don't have an advantage. If anything, I could die at a traffic stop any day, right? So I will take the W's where I can pick them up, and I refuse to let the color of my skin, something I cannot control, create a ceiling in my life. But that is only because I had a parent, I had upbringing, I had family that made that a reality and made sure that I knew that. But a lot of people, they're in this rat race. They don't have somebody literally telling them, this is not your life. This is not your destiny.
Exactly.
Right. So, it doesn't bother me. I love being black. I love being a black man in classical music.
Because I definitely feel that way now, like that, there's nowhere to go but up. But like, especially when I was starting out, like being from Inglewood, people, what is that you're carrying? Or even like my bass teacher that I had in middle school and high school was literally like, he charged me less than half of what he charges other students because I simply could not afford to study with him. Like, and if it wasn't for that, like people taking chances on me, like that's sort of how I got to where I am today.
Ditto.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So
I had access, but also had a lot of people looking out for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I literally,
huge.
Teachers who did not take a chance, I just don't know how it would have gotten this far.
Yeah, and I really think about that a lot.
Yeah,
and that's why I made my social media, because I wanted to be the big brother that a lot of people didn't have. The big brother in classical music that I wish I would have had.
And you're doing that.
Give me. I want to do more. I know I need to do more, and I'm figuring out how to do it in the best way I can. Okay. Because you're not alone. If you're listening to this, you're not alone.
Yeah. So, tell us a little bit about how you balance your creative life and your personal life these days.
Very easily. I don't have a personal life.
Here you go. I knew you were gonna say.
Ain't that what Tremaine said?
Yeah, Tremaine was like, "Well, it's easy because
I don't have a personal life," and that's okay. I'm looking to build it, but I find that it's funny. The older you get, and the more quote, 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 50 million air quotes in the air success you get, the less genuine people tend to be. You then become more of a commodity that people want to know but don't care about.
That's what Drake was saying.
Look, Drake's songs have been resonating with me so much recently. No new friends, right?
Listen,
no
that's what
new
Drake's
friends.
talking about. He's talking about people start acting funny.
They start acting fun. Yo,
it's switching up.
They're switching up because they see dollar signs when they see you, or they see follower account when they see you. They don't see a person. They see a blue check mark, and then it becomes an issue of like, if I meet a girl, I created a secret Instagram account. Good luck finding it.
Well,
it has my face on it.
Underestimate.
So it has my face on it. So there's only so much you can do. But
hey, Google search.
but that's why I made it, because I want people to see that when they meet me instead of the other thing. Because if I found that girls wouldn't give me the time of day, but then they would Google me. And then they'd be like, hey, what's up?
What? Wow, the audacity.
And they think I don't see it. So when people pop up out of nowhere after a long time, like it's been happening a lot, it's hard. That feels really bad. It's like, if I had not busted my ass and tried to make something of myself, you wouldn't give a damn about me.
Mm-hmm. But now they all, let's get some lunch, let's get some coffee. Like,
yeah, I would love to pick your brain about like, weren't you making fun of me about
when
people you're the hashtag kid, journey to Julia, journey to the bathroom, journey to class.
Wow.
Yeah, I had people making fun of me.
That's
the first
when people from high school slide into your DMs, I'd be like,
I got people from New York who wouldn't put me on, but are like, hey, we got a project. Would you like to promote it?
Nah, man, we good.
I'm like, what's your budget?
Right.
What's your
budget?
Can you afford me?
Can you afford?
No, it's cool. For a 24-hour post, that's $150. Just drop it.
Listen,
nice.
I mean, what are we talking about?
Yeah. Or do you have some contacts? Can we make this a quid pro quo? Let's both benefit. That's the thing. It's like a lot of people, they don't realize that if you want value, you have to give value. Think about it. This is advice for anybody out there trying to do something and wants to collaborate with somebody who has worked hard and has an audience. Figure out what they need. Is there something that they don't do very well, or something that they don't have time for? Offer to make their life easier for free in exchange for the favor that you're wanting. So if you want to come at me and you want to be like, hey, let's work. I'm like, okay, what do you mean? No, like, do you want to come at me like, hey, I see you've been making a lot of content, but you haven't been producing a lot recently. Is it an editing problem? Do you need somebody to chop up some content that you have existing already? Do you need somebody to help update your website? I see your website, you got some stuff that's from like last year that you haven't fixed. Like, I would love to do that for free. Like, I got you. Like, let me help you build this. And then in exchange, like, maybe you could teach me how to edit, or maybe you could teach me how to do this social media thing. Maybe you could teach me how to edit photos. I could do it for you. I can make your life a little easier. And I think that's the way with anybody to approach them. That's much better. That's how you get your DMs open. So, but I open all my DMs. So unless you're just asking, then I'm just like, oh, I'll get back to it later.
Okay, so you talked a little bit about advice. You have any advice for, and we can group this together, people who desire to become creatives. So that's the first part. And then also people who are considering a career in music. It's audition season coming up. You're going to audition for conservatory, or not even conservatory. You're going to audition for music school. What advice do you have for creatives and potential music students?
Okay. So here we go. Let's address the one and go in music first. Do you like music? Could you live your life without doing it? Or do you like music, or do you like teaching? Do you like performing? Like, figure out and try everything. Do you like music admin? I heard a story, Sir Clive Gillinson, I think he's the music director of Carnegie Hall, or he's one of the main executives of Carnegie Hall. He used to play with the London Symphony Orchestra. He was a cellist, and he was going to do that his whole life. But then management kind of fell through, and they just asked somebody from the orchestra to volunteer to manage that orchestra. And he was like, it's a little extra money. Let me just try it out. And he did, and he fell in love with music admin. And so he then eventually did music admin and eventually became the director of Carnegie Hall. That's huge. But he would have never done that had he not had the patience and the open-mindedness to try it. So I would say, if you want to be a musician, if you want to be a part of music, that's the question. If you want to make money in the realm of music, cool. If the answer is yes, go to school for music. Then it's what aspect of music, because there's so many different aspects. Do you want to be a performer? Then you have to ask yourself, are you willing to put in the work that is required of a performer? Are you willing to practice 3 hours a day, every day for 6 months to get your technique? Are you trying to learn all these different pieces? If not, do you hate rehearsal? I hate rehearsal because most of the time it's a waste of time because people show up and they're not ready. And they also go way too long because and then I have to drive an hour and a half each way. So I don't enjoy that, but I love performing, and I love the after performance, the connection, the human connection the performance creates, the congregation that it creates, and then the subsequent social aspect. That's what I love. So music festivals, all we do is play music, perform, and hang out. That's my thing. Yeah. I love that. That's and it's the performance. But for you, you may want to be behind the scenes. You may want to be a videographer for music videos, or maybe you want to be an engineer and you want to record classical musicians and make them sound good, right? Mm-hmm. And then amateur on the side, have chamber parties every week at your house. And that's how you get it. But figure out how you want to get it and then go from there. When it comes to creatives, I would say there are two things. One thing, don't let the pursuit of perfect get in the way of good enough. That's something that Casey Neistat said once in his vlog, and that really resonated with me. Never let the pursuit of perfect get in the way of good enough. So that's one thing. Number 2, Gary Vaynerchuk said, I'm just reciting people's stuff.
It's fine. Don't worry about it.
But you should value documentation over creation. Instead of thinking about, how do I make memes? Think about it, come at it from the perspective of how do I document what's going on in my life? If you realize memes are just social commentary on situations, situational social commentary, sitcom, right? So all you have to do is like, if you look at your situations, like, man, I hate it when people take my rosin and it's destroyed. They just destroy my perfect cake of rosin, right? Make a meme out of it. Find a situation where in a video or a TV show where somebody loans something to somebody and they bring it back destroyed. And then put the caption, when I loan, that feeling when you loan rosin to your friends. And then that's a musical meme. Boom, that's content. You created it. Yeah. But you came from the perspective of documentation. What are you doing today? Figure out a creative way to tell your story. Right? Don't think about creation. Creation means you start from 0. No, start from 75. 75 being what your life is, what's going on in your life, and then tailor that. So that's how you start being creative. And then that starts getting the light going. And the third thing I will say is don't get too fancy. And that's from personal experience. I think I got a little too fancy with my content.
What do you mean by not to get too fancy?
I got into the whole gear lust. I got into like the whole like high quality cinematic yada yada, but that stuff takes time, and so I don't produce content as much as I used to when all I did was 30 seconds filming on my phone and posting. But now it's a record with my camera, get the levels, get the lighting right, record, then take it off my camera, put it in my computer, edit it, export it, then airdrop it to my phone, and then think about the narrative. So what used to take 45 minutes now takes 3 hours. So
wow, I
can't produce as much until I get a team that can help me do it faster. So don't get too fancy. The best equipment that you have is the equipment that you have. That's the best equipment, right? Your phone is nuts. Do it, okay? And then don't shoot your ideas down before you allow them to develop. That is my biggest issue, especially when it comes to making music and writing. I always say, "Oh, that's garbage. That's garbage." Before I even speak into the mic, I'm like, "Oh, that's garbage. That's garbage. That idea is dumb." No idea is dumb. An idea is only undeveloped. Think about it like that. There's no such thing as hard music. It's just unfamiliar music. There's no such thing.
You can just keep looking at Drew. You don't have to look
as
over
a
here.
bad idea. There's just
business.
an undeveloped idea. So those are some things that I live by, and I hope they're helpful.
So you want to tell us about any upcoming projects you have?
I'm working on a mixtape right now.
Ooh, did I hear mixtape?
We got a mixtape in the ladies and gentlemen.
You know, I love me a good mixtape.
Oh yeah. No, it's gonna be a little different. If you listen to my track Duality and the sound world that it is, I hope it comes across as an authentic blending of classical music and hip hop. Something that is definitely hip hop, but is different, right? And that's what I'm going for. But I find that people make it too classical, and therefore it doesn't resonate with hip hop artists. I'm making hip hop for hip hop heads with the perspective of a Juilliard graduate. So that's what I'm going for. And I want it to be autobiographical. I want it to talk about my life and my mental state and my struggles and my aspirations, and to be real, right? And that's going to be the 2019 project. It's going to take a while because I'm not good at rapping off the top of my head, and it takes me a while to write things, and
that's okay.
Yeah,
you'll get there.
But yeah, exactly. And I think I'm always trying to tell people they can do anything, but what's the point if I don't do it myself?
Yeah,
I didn't come up as a rapper. I've been rapping for 6 months. Okay, that's it. So if I'm like willing to publicly be really bad and new at something, you should be okay with it too, because you're gonna learn new stuff all your life. Bill Burr. You know Bill Burr, comedian?
Yeah.
You gotta listen to his Monday morning podcast. He's incredible. He's so funny. He's one of the best comics alive. He's in his 50s and he's just starting to. He's just working on his helicopter pilot license.
Oh wow!
Right?
Helicopter pilot?
Yes. Which is a whole nother, like, that's so different, right?
Like so opposite.
Continually learn. Be okay with beginning and starting new and being bad at things. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. In the social media world, we're always like trying to be perfect, but that's not that's boring. Yeah.
So this is pretty obvious, but tell us where we can find you online.
Yeah. You could find me on any platform, Facebook, Twitter. Definitely hit me up on Twitter. I'm trying to get my Twitter up. Like that's something. I love Twitter.
Lenny loves Twitter.
I don't even use it well. We need to have a conversation. I need to figure out how I need to make content for Twitter. But Twitter, Facebook
has to be trifling.
Instagram. Oh, I'm not trifling though. I just tell dad jokes. I just tell dad jokes and make memes. Okay, so if you want to see dad jokes and memes, and also BTS that I don't even share on Instagram of my writing process, or just random lyrics that pop up in my head, I tweet them out. So at ThatViolaKid, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. Subscribe to me on YouTube. And I got a podcast and a mixtape coming up, so stay tuned.
Ooh. We're moving on.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Drew.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for listening to me yell at a microphone for however long it's been, like an hour and a half, 2 hours.
It's been like 47 hours.
47 hours.
Literally Sunday. Okay, so now we're back with our intermission segment. So just in case you're not familiar, intermission is a time where we do classically related things, but, anything can happen.
Okay.
So
Sounds spicy. Classical related.
I mean, click the link for Classically Black After Dark.
Hey. Like
Okay.
Classically Black After Dark. Are you ready? Get that radio voice going.
Radio voice on 10. Good for you. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're gonna play a little activity called the soundtrack of your life, just to see what's going on. So I have a couple of instances, and I want you to give me a piece or a song, because we know that you're expanding. We don't want to keep it limited to classical music. Also, Delaney and I don't only listen to classical music, so
Cool.
So this, I'm gonna give you a rundown, and then we'll just go one by one. So soundtrack of your life: a piece that you play when you're happy, a piece you play when you feel sad but want to stay in your feelings, because sometimes you just want to
feel it.
Like, and I think it's important to feel. Like when you go through something, like convincing yourself that you feel better, it's not always a move. Like, it's okay.
Shoving it down and then you spit it out
And-
at weird times.
Exactly.
At
Like,
weird times.
okay, your lesson breakdown.
Yeah, it's like you just start crying. Your teacher's like, "What the heck? I just said do it again."
Now,
Can't do it.
now your varnish melting.
Why did you leave me? Yeah, no, I've been there.
Varnish dripping off your instrument because
yeah.
you didn't want to deal with your
Yeah, we
feelings.
struggling.
A piece that will pick you back up. So you felt your feelings and you back. Give me the ultimate bop. So it's litty-fi, litty. Listen, can't nobody tell you nothing when
Can't
this
tell
come
me
on.
nothing when I'm playing. Got it.
And then finally, something that might be a little bit difficult because I am struggling, is a piece that embodies you. So
Beautiful.
you're our guest. Let's start with you. Give me a piece that you play when you feel happy, or a song. Piece or song.
When it feels, I would say Bach Cello Suite No. 6.
When you feel happy.
When I
Piece
feel
when you
happy.
feel happy.
Yeah. I know. There's something about G major. It's interchangeable. It's either 1 or 6, but there's something so golden and sunny and open and inviting about G major as a key, and I've always really felt so at peace or centered whenever I play, even though it's hard or not hard. I'm taking that out of my vernacular because it's unfamiliar to my fingers. in my brain and the synapses. It can be difficult. However, anything worth achieving is difficult.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and happiness is never a destination; it's a state of being, and it ebbs and flows. And I think that being okay with that, and the way Bach leaves G major and the way he visits other key centers, it really is indicative of the reality of happiness. That it is different shades of happiness: introspective, extroverted, joyous, euphoric, and complacence. Positive complacence.
I'm about to say I was a complacence.
No, I'm complacent because I think complacence in small doses allows you to also, complacence leads to gratitude. And gratitude is something that is underestimated. Being grateful for a body that functions correctly, grateful for an instrument that plays beautifully when I do it correctly. Like, yeah, that's and so Bach in G major really does that for me.
What about you, Delaney?
So for me, you're gonna feel some type of way about this, but Prokofiev Classical Symphony to me is a bob.
Not Bob. Makes you feel
happy.
happy.
Well, it still,
it makes you happy.
Yeah, it makes me happy.
I want you to be happy, sister. So go for it.
And I know that a lot of people, especially the wind players, are like, you don't understand what we're going through when we're playing this. However, that piece always puts me in a good mood.
I mean, I'm not gonna say it's trash because like the flute player is working in that 1 2 boogity da dee da 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 ding. So listen.
Hey, I love how she just whipped out that
because she used to
scoop it bop bop boop be all. You know,
I got the
scat it. You got scat on them, girl.
Listen, that's fine.
Bars.
Okay, so I'm about to change the mood because meanwhile my piece is left field, but it's not a piece. Okay, well it is a piece because it was written by Migos, which who are, you know, they're momentous, they're big, they're iconic.
Let's not throw words around.
Versace by the Migos featuring Drake will always get me, especially featuring Drake. And I as a true Migos stan, I appreciate Versace because that's when they finally took off. Drake found them, they're like, hey, what y'all doing? So then he did the opening of it, and like, this is a getting me.
And you can see how they
so
influenced Drake in his style. Like, that's what art is. It's collaboration and change. Artists that stay in the game are those that change.
Yeah.
So if you stay
absolutely.
the same, people will get bored and you will become irrelevant.
And that's why Joe Budden is mad. But that's okay. That's another conversation.
Ooh, just dropped a bomb on them.
We keep it real on Classic
Yeah,
Life.
I respect that. I respect that perspective.
Okay, give me a piece that you play when you're sad but want to stay in your feelings. Like you just gotta sit there.
Via Ton Capriccio, Por Alto Sol.
That piece goes. It's sad.
It gets dark. But the thing that makes it even darker is that it has moments where it's C minor. And it's basically a piece of music that has two different themes and then a coda. And so you have the beginning theme in E flat major or C minor, sorry, that is so dark. And
what? Are you okay?
But then you get to a point where you go all the way down to that open C string. And it opens up in E flat major.
So, that piece
soars. But it goes between C minor and E flat major, and then it ends in the C minor, and it gets even darker. And it
escalates out of nowhere.
There's this anger.
Like,
there's
hold
this
on.
anger
What
that comes from nowhere. And then it literally spirals to the darkest. Da 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 da. The Neapolitan 5. Da 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 da. Then there's silence. Brum, brum.
Yo, if you don't know that piece, get right, get left. Like that.
Look, learn that is a staple.
You cannot say violas don't have good. Like that is like it was written for viola. That is like.
and it sits well on the viola. And
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you, y'all, if you practice your A flat major scales, that coda is a breeze. It's a breeze. It really is. It's once you know once you know the hand frames of A flat major, and you get up to like what, 6th position or whatever, you're good.
I'm laughing because I played that for Mr. Taylor. I needed it for something, so I played that for Mr. Taylor. He was like, "That was an interesting fingering. So we have to hear all the notes." And I was like, "Please respect my privacy at this time. It's none of your business."
It's one of those pieces that you can kind of fake. And
You can low key fake that piece as long as you stay in C minor, sweetheart.
Yeah, yes, ma'am. C and E flat got to be in tune.
Delaney.
So the piece that I play when I want to stay in my feelings is the Bottesini Elegy for bass and piano.
Hey, bass, stand up.
Specifically, I feel like every bass player knows that Joel Corrington's recording is the best. I just feel like people weren't always playing the bass the way they are today. And that piece is just so like, there had to have been teardrops on his score when he was writing that, because how like, it's just, there's so much, it shows the range of the instrument that people for so long believed it didn't have. Like, and it's just, there's so like such tender moments. It uses the whole range of the instrument. It's just, it's so beautiful. Like, it's beautiful, but it's also just like really heart-wrenching to listen to, which is why I won't be playing it until I have the utmost confidence in myself to just play it down.
I disagree.
I also disagree. What?
Here's the only way you get better is when you mature into a piece. You should learn it now, do it the best you can, and then leave it. Like, just put it down. That's what I did with the Vioton. I like learned it in school. I played it once. I put it down, and like now, a few years later, I play it, and it sounds so much better. And it's a calling card for me. Like, that's one of those things that I just do. Hindemith too. Yeah. So bring it. Do it now.
I just hope that my teachers don't listen to this podcast right now.
You don't have to play it for your teacher. Just do it. Like, do you know Xavier Foley?
Oh, yeah.
I grew up with Xavier.
Okay.
The talent development program. One thing that I thought was so dope was that his teacher, Doug Sommer, rest in peace, really great man. But Xavier was like, "Hey, I want to play this piece," and Doug Sommer was like, "Nah, I don't think you're ready." So Xavier went home that week and practiced every day for like 3 hours and came back to the lesson and played it for him.
Wow.
And Doug was like, "Okay, let's work on it."
Because who was telling him that he's phenomenal? He's just
look. No. It wasn't that. It's his teacher had a plan and a roadmap, but he took charge of his lessons. That's one thing that we get a little too subservient as students. No. We gotta, if you want to learn it, rise to the occasion.
So be like, "What we doing today?" I'm like, "You tell me." I don't know. What are we playing today?
Yeah. I'm definitely guilty
of
charge.
I mean, me too. I'm the best student ever, and I don't have a teacher. I became a better student when I stopped having a teacher, because I was like, "Oh, this is what it takes." Initiative. What about you, Katie? What's your song?
So mine is the Adagio from Mahler 5. Absolutely, just that's
Remind
gonna
me
put
how it goes.
Shucks. Now
it's okay. No, it's okay.
No,
I just haven't
because I know it.
Oh, you got it.
What you mean we? I'm living it in.
I can't. I'm gonna, as soon as we turn the mic off, I'm gonna know how it goes.
Okay. It's fine.
And
it's fine.
it's actually not supposed to be a sad thing. It's just because he actually wrote it as a gift to his wife. Which, if you wrote me that, baby, listen,
whatever you want.
Who needs a ring? Who needs a ring? He wrote me a piece in a symphony.
You wrote me that? Classically Black After Dark.
Like, this is forever. They say diamonds are forever. Classical symphonic movements are forever.
If you wrote me that, listen, let's go. Man, I'm mad I can't remember it.
It's okay.
Okay. A piece to pick. A piece that picks you back up. So we were in our feelings. What's a piece that's gonna pick you back up, or a song?
Anything by Anderson .Paak. Like, yes, loud. No, like his energy is something different. Even if it's like a sad song or if it's like a low key song, everything he makes has this glow to it of just authenticity, warmth, and vulnerability. So I think that's what's so inspiring. You hear in every syllable the emphasis and the soul behind it. And that just makes me so happy that somebody could be so real with the music.
I'm gonna have to. We're gonna be sharing Spotify. You have to send me.
Oh, girl, Malibu. Oxnard is another really great. His recent album. It's incredible. But Malibu, I think, was a real moment for R&B. He's more of R&B. He's a rapper, but he's more R&B.
Yeah, yo people.
So I think you would love it. I would think you would love it. Yeah.
So my piece is Someone You Love by Stevie Wonder. I've probably said this on the podcast before. Stevie Wonder is my favorite artist of all time. So Someone You Love is also, it's a little nostalgic for me because me and my mom like both love it a lot. So like we always dance to that song. It's just like it's so groovy. Like every time, I cannot, if that song is on, I'm not going to sit still. I don't care. It doesn't matter where I am. Like
I got you.
I'm not going to. So yeah, that's my piece. What about you?
A piece that picks me back up. It's a small, excuse me, like little art. It's not an aria, but whatever. It's Voce Saperte, and it's from Magic Flute. But it's like the cutest little thing in the world, and it's so happy, like da 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 da, and it's low key a bop.
Yeah, I didn't know the name of it, but
Voce Saperte.
you know that. Yeah, Mozart. Shout out to Mozart.
Shout out to Mozart.
What is Mozart up to these days?
You know,
He's decomposing.
I mean, with a whole bunch of other people because we don't know where that body
Did you see
went.
that? Did you see that meme that went around the classical music niche? Classic FM shared it. Some other people did. It was like 4 pictures of a piano where a person was pressing a note.
Oh,
and
I
it spelled
saw
out
that.
DEAD, and the caption was like, "What is Mozart up to these days?" Dead.
Of course, Classic FM shared that.
I was like, I gotta like it out of principle, but damn, is this content now? Man, I gotta work on my memes, man. I gotta work on my memes.
Okay, so give me a piece that's the ultimate bop or a song, ultimate bop like of all time. Like when you hear it, you're lit. Let's go. What is it? Struggling over there.
I couldn't pick one.
Give me 2.
I'm gonna give you 3. Tchaikovsky Symphony No. 5, Movement 1. And when you have a symphony that plays that rhythm perfect in the pocket, a lot of people rush it. It's like ooh, gets me rhythmic.
And he did the violas really well in that symphony because I mean,
he did.
we start the development. We have. I mean, it's just
5 and 6. The viola is like
hey.
You know, it's
low-key
lit.
lyrics,
Okay, so that's one. That's one. Shasti 5, last movement. You can't tell me. I
forgot about that. I've been so I've been so deep in my feels with that first movement.
Look, my heart is already beating. I'm like, let's go to war.
Like,
you know, it's like it's a battle cry.
That's
it's
like you about to. That's a turn. I feel like you could.
That is a soundtrack for the Blitzkrieg when they rolled through Poland, man, 1939.
I low key feel you could pregame to that.
No, lit. Like, okay, bet. Come on over. We gon' hit the club, but we gonna turn up some Shasti.
Right.
Okay. We're gonna get in the mood.
The neighbors wondering like, where they going?
And the last one that I have for Ultimate Bopper, the last movement of the Mendelssohn String Quartet No. 1, Opus 12 in E flat, because the reason why is it references Beethoven Harp Quartet in a lot of the gestures, but also it has a recapitulation of the first movement in the last movement, and it ends the piece. And it's like you come back home. It is the most satisfying moment in all of music for me. Like,
oh, wow.
Hands down. If you don't know the string quartet, listen to it full. He wrote it when he was like 16. It was his first string quartet he ever wrote.
We never deserved Mendelssohn.
Look, okay, Mendelssohn didn't have iPhones, okay? He had time.
Like...
He had time. He got bored. So he's like, you know what? I'm going to just write a string quartet.
I mean, he did well.
And then... Octet came soon after or before. It was
The
around
violin
the same time.
concerto.
Violin concerto. Yeah, I mean, homie put in work. I think if it was possible to glow down, that's what he did. But and nothing against him.
Wait, hold on. Did you come for which piece? I just want to make sure I heard. You didn't come for the violin concerto though.
No. No, I'm talking about Opus 12, man. Opus 12, string quartet number 1.
Okay. No, I think you said you glow down. I'm just trying to make sure where
No. I'm talking about like his symphonic works and stuff.
Oh,
like yeah. I mean, it's cool. It's cool, but it's the elevator music, you know?
Yeah.
His string quartets, his chamber music, Opus 80, a banger.
Now
That first movement, F minor, girl.
Listen, I'm gonna do it. You don't have to do all this. This is. I
have to stop.
This is not. This is not necessary.
What about you? I gotta stop. Man.
Well, staying on theme with string quartets, the Greek string quartet sounds like rock and roll to me. Like it's. Why can't we play music like that? Like, I mean, as bass players, because I stand chamber music, but.
Well, just write it. Just arrange it.
Yeah, I will commission it when I get some money. But
look, bass players around the world do it for you people.
Yeah, exactly.
What about you, Katie? What about you, Katie?
Mine is the Souvenir de Florence. Oh, chamber music all around.
Hey.
That first da 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 da. I don't care. That's a bop. Like of course Tchaikovsky.
That second movement is unreal.
It's like, what? Beautiful. How did you came up with this on your own?
Yeah. That's the thing about Tchaikovsky. Nobody made melodies.
No one could turn a melody like Tchaikovsky. The girls tried and they failed.
Yeah. Brahms got close.
And
Brahms is my favorite composer.
Is he?
But Tchaikovsky. You just can't. There's a reason why laymen know Tchaikovsky's music. It's because and that we play his music every Christmas is because it was just that ubiquitous and iconic. Yeah. He's an icon living. Shout out, Jaden.
Okay, I got one more for you, Drew.
All right, what's good?
Okay, a piece that embodies you. And just to be fair, like this changes. Like we change as people. Yeah. So like on today. What shout out to Marco on today, what is that piece?
What used to define me was Adagio for strings by Samuel Barber. That was my life for a little while.
I can't me too
for a little while. You have moments, but right now I think it is Duality, like my debut single. Like I put a lot into
I'm here for it.
And there's something about it's hard to have a music that embodies you that doesn't have lyrics, because lyrics make things specific. Sounds and classical music without words, instrumentals, that leaves a lot of room for interpretation, which is why it's incredible. But lyrics get really specific, and so obviously it's something that I wrote really resonates with me, and I really put my heart and soul into that. So that's my answer.
That's cool. That's what's up. I respect that. Delaney?
All right, so mine, I'm going to have to say the Hindemith Bass Sonata.
I didn't even know he wrote one.
He wrote sonata for every instrument.
Jeez.
Yeah.
He also wrote plays, like 9 of them.
Really?
Yeah, I saw one of his plays in Rotterdam. It was weird.
Oh yeah, see, I saw that
you
went to that
in the store. Yeah.
I didn't. I went back to my hotel.
Okay. Were you at the international?
Yes.
Oh my! We could. Katie was presenting.
I presented. We could discuss this later because
I was so jet lagged.
I never adjust. Did I adjust? I can't remember.
I was so jet lagged. Like I was waking up at like 12:30.
See, you know what happened? I procrastinated on the paper the night before I left, so I didn't go to sleep. So I slept on the plane. So I woke up. I did adjust. I woke up in the new time.
No, homie. I was good Thursday, and the last day was like Saturday. So like I saw people on Friday and then saw people on Saturday, and I was like, oh, not better.
Like,
what did you think of it?
I've been to an IVC before. I went to the previous one.
Oh, okay.
So
it's my first one.
Yeah, I mean, it was good. My goal is to be able to go to the sessions because I present, so I'm always just stressed the entire week. I wasn't as stressed this time because when I went to New Zealand, I had to they put me on like 2 master classes and I had to present, so I was so stressed out I didn't go to anything.
Okay.
So this time I went to a couple master classes, I went to like a session, so it was better, you know.
Beautiful.
What'd you think?
I felt very weird. I would like go into places and people would like look at me.
Oh, because you were supposed to be a celebrity there. I forgot. Yeah, Drew's out here. So,
but nobody would talk to me. Like, so
really?
It was like, yeah, unless I the last day I just sat in the lobby for a while and then people came up and talked to me. But if I came and like looked at stuff, like people just acted really weird. So I was tired. So I was like, I don't want to just like, you know, and they didn't give me anything to do. That was the thing. Like,
oh really?
They were just like, we wanted you to like make content, but it's like up to you. And I was like, okay, but like, what do you want me to do? Like, you can sign up for master classes or whatever. I'm like, but I'm preparing for an audition, so like, right. I'm like practicing excerpts. Like, this is not something.
I don't think there was any like they had like Roger Benedict there at the Wellington one. So like I played excerpts in that one. But it's like they didn't have anyone to play excerpts for.
No.
So.
And like I was doing chamber orchestra excerpts. I wasn't doing orchestra excerpts. So they're very different.
Yeah.
I was playing for Clariton Oct and like freaking Strauss.
Yeah.
You know, so it was, I just didn't know. And so it was over by the time I like kind of got acclimated. I was like, I bet. But I was so happy to meet people internationally. That was really, and everybody was really nice. I wish they would have had me do some Q&As or like giving me a panel or something.
That's weird.
To talk.
Yeah.
Because like I wanted to talk about my story and like talk about social media and why it's important, but they didn't set up a time for me to like, for people to show up to see me. So like, what was I gonna do? Yeah. Right. So, yeah. But it was cool.
How about you, Delaney?
Well, I just said mine.
Did you?
Sorry.
Yeah, I said the Hindemith bass sonata.
Hindemith bass sonata.
Yeah, but I didn't really give like my background on why. Basically, the reason why I said that embodies me is because that's the piece that I've made like the most growth with. Mm-hmm. Like I've never. First of all, it's the best I've played anything ever, but it did not start that way at all. Yeah. It like, especially Hindemith, there's no piece by Hindemith that I've liked the first, second, or maybe even third time I've heard it. And
well, can I give you a suggestion?
Okay.
Hindemith Opus 18, number 4 for viola. It's one of the most gorgeous pieces.
I'm sure. Because his piece, the ones like, even if I don't like them, they grow on me. Like Symphonic Metamorphosis, I was like, now? Yeah, Symphonic Metamorphosis is... Wait.
I played it before.
Wait, I made my ears deceiving me.
I played it before. I just don't...
Oh my God. We need to take the mic to the shop.
Okay. You're singing it wrong.
It'd be a tough beat.
That'd be tough. Movement, the bump da 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 dum, a ba da 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 dum.
No, girl.
No, y'all. I'm so sorry. I think something's wrong with Drew's mic.
I played it in high school.
See, that's the problem.
Yeah, I haven't. That was the only time I was a 10th grader. That's why I don't like it, because everybody sounds like ass.
Oh, okay, yeah, it's hard.
Hindemith, it's hard, especially when you think you know what you're doing, all of a sudden you don't.
Yeah.
So
yeah, exactly.
I feel like that was like the same thing with the bass sonata. Like every time I started a new movement, I was like, what is he trying to do? And then like at some point, like I was exploring like my practice method, and I found something that really worked for me. And especially I'm like a very tedious person, so I have to pick things apart like one by one. And that's what I did when I was studying that sonata. And when I picked it apart in several different ways and put it back together, it clicked for me. And even my teacher was like, this piece is you, like this, you, like it resonates with you for whatever reason, which I was not expecting at all from Hindemith, but I don't know, for some reason it just clicks. So.
He grows on you. He does grow on you. What about you, Katie?
Okay. So mine at the moment is Petty Wop by Young M.A.
Okay.
It's her newest single.
Okay. Wait, is she on Dreamville?
I don't know.
Who is she?
Young M.A. She's a rapper from Brooklyn. And
is she signed or independent?
I think she's independent, but she's like pretty popular. She do that song, Ooh, Like, okay, we're gonna have to talk. So,
Send me.
And when
send
it's
me
time
the
to pop,
link.
they a no show.
No.
Yeah,
that
I'm
sounds
pretty, but I'm
labeled.
loco. Listen,
Hey, you know what? That's my type of girl.
listen.
Pretty, but they loco. Lady in the street, but a freak in the bed.
But I don't know. I like catchy lyrics.
Yeah.
Turn my checkbook into a text. Okay, they're like,
Turn
she's
my
like,
checkbook
no, hang
into
on,
a
no. She's like,
textbook.
teacher said we never make it. But I turn my textbook into a checkbook. Yeah, I'm rich and they hate it. Listen.
Yeah. No, if she got bars, send me the link.
Listen.
Send me the link.
I just love her. I love Young and May. I love her whole aesthetic. She doesn't care. And that's where I'm at right now. You know, I'm not where I want to be with viola right now, but I worked really hard to get to where I'm at. So, and that's
I'm
kind
proud
of
of
the thing.
you.
Like, you know,
I'm
teachers
proud of
like,
you.
Teachers were like, Eastman School of Music,
Eastman.
and I was like, yes, ma'am. Here is my acceptance letter, and so that's for right now.
Eastman is big.
Like, we'll see what we're going after.
Eastman's big.
She has an audition in 2 weeks.
Hey,
Been on a break.
don't be attached to the outcome. Don't be attached. As somebody who's taken a few auditions, like, don't be attached to the outcome.
Yeah.
That's the number one thing. There's no such thing as a good experience or a bad experience. It's just a learning experience. So,
I'll remember that.
yeah, just a little bit.
But thanks for playing with us,
Hey,
Drew.
thank
We
you.
appreciate
Thanks
it.
for having me. This was super fun. I'm gonna tell you, I haven't had a conversation about classical music with classical musicians in a long time.
Really?
It felt really good. Yeah.
Good.
Especially people who look like my family. You know what I'm saying? Y'all look like my cousin.
Gang, gang.
Hey.
Thanks for joining us, Drew.
Thanks for having me.
And we're moving on.
Okay.
And now we are moving on to our Black Excellence segment where we hype y'all up. So Black Excellence this week goes to a 6th grader from Long Island. His name is Jesse Hubbs, and he is an incredibly gifted pianist. So I saw this story on Fox New York, and basically there's a video of him playing. He's phenomenal and just Black Boy Joy, Black Boy Magic, all of that.
Aww.
He's literally, I'm just like, why, when I was in 6th grade, what was I doing? Twiddling my thumbs. And
Okay. Oh, he's so cute.
yeah. Well, he's incredibly talented, and he hopes that one day he can tour like as like his career, and he wants to play concerts, and he wants to play at the Lincoln Center and Carnegie Hall, and he's just incredibly inspiring. You know, that because a lot of the times you see kids like especially Black kids who are growing up in situations where they don't have access to this, and you don't see as many like prodigies and just kids who are able to like cultivate their talent in this way, and it's totally possible.
Right.
So to see him out here doing it up is super inspiring, and I'm just trying to get like Jesse. That's 2019 for me. Okay, we're gonna be on episode 23 still talking about, so in 2019 you're gonna be like, your New Year's resolutions are dead, Delaney. They're
Nah, we gonna get there. We not there yet, but we gonna get there.
Exactly.
So we're ready to get out of here, sister. Do you have a piece of the week?
Yes. So my piece this week. Are y'all still subscribed or?
Don't give up on us.
My piece this week, I don't like how you was like, I told Katie, I was like, you're gonna agree with my piece this week. She's like, I doubt it. Meanwhile, you thinking it's a Prokofiev and Debussy mashup or something.
What would that even sound like?
It sounds like death knocking at your door.
I'd rather remove my eardrum with a butter knife.
Well, we got a couple butter knives in the kitchen if you really bout it.
What's the piece?
If you really bout it.
I'm ready to go home. What's the piece?
If you really bout it.
Please tell us the piece.
So the piece. I'll link a poll in the description whether or not y'all think that Katie should actually just say what she mean. Like, you
is
said you were,
the piece.
I'm getting there. You're not gonna let me talk. So
oh, Father God.
So, the piece is Beethoven 1. See, I told you was gonna agree to me. Because, like, I know late Beethoven was lit. However, I know Beethoven 1, it sounds like Beethoven before he realized, oh, I'm Beethoven. However, it's gorgeous. The beginning.
Okay, Beethoven is a genius because, first of all, he's like, who starts a piece on a dominant? And it's not the right dominant. And he's like, he keeps joking with y'all, like, is this it? Is this the key? Is this the key? Is this? And then he gets you to the key, like, so late. Like, you finally get, I think C major, right?
You talking about keys and you talking about, yeah, C major. Though.
You finally get to C major literally like 5 minutes into the movie. And he's like, Beethoven is a finesser. He's like, oh yeah, I thought y'all.
That's what, his mother was a Moor. He had a little
something.
him.
Yeah. Because
we love to a finesse.
I love that symphony. I have to go listen to it.
Yeah. The beginning with the that gets me every single time. It's so gorgeous. It goes.
Oh shoot! Now I gotta listen to that tonight.
That part with the low strings where it's just gorgeous. Yeah. Right. Hey.
I'm gonna reveal a part. I'm gonna tell you what the flutes are doing. That's what I hate about being a violist, because everyone, the violinists, always be singing. I'm always dee da dee. I never know the melody.
Right, and then when we sing stuff together, all you get is the bottom and the middle. So you're like, what is? All I'm getting is the downbeats and the offbeats.
But the violins can cool it because they always be looking at you like, so that's what y'all doing? I'm like, yes, and you would have nothing without us.
Right. Meanwhile, y'all on the floor in shambles. All 36 of y'all are doing different tempos without us. So.
Exactly. So next,
how did we get here?
We always reading somebody for no reason.
Literally, no one did anything to us. Who hurt us? We are defensive. Now, what you not gonna say about my instrument?
Hey, say something again. We squaring up.
What are we doing? Another thing.
Hey, who's scared? Leave Froggy.
Somebody was listening to the podcast and they were like, "Y'all crack each other up, don't you?" And meanwhile, their face was straight.
I think people would be terrified to know that we really could record the podcast at any moment because this is just a lady nice conversation.
Like at the table, I'm like, we should have just set the mic up here.
Like literally,
this is how I know we're a lot. However, just be glad that you're not friends with us because we would be so much more.
Ask our friends
because now we have inside information about your life. Now we're pulling specific references. We're going even further. We have your number. We can contact you
like FaceTiming 20 times a day. Cremaine, there's always a time if both of us on the phone with Cremaine is always
where he zones out
somewhere around the hour mark. Cremaine is like, all right, y'all, so I'm going to bed. I'm like, Cremaine, it's 7:00. He's like, I'm tired.
It's 7 a.m. Meanwhile, he's like, I'm good. It's my bedtime.
Oh my god,
I know we're a lot. However,
y'all
bear with us.
Right? Gang, classically podcast, gang,
classically podcast.
You're not gonna come for me. First of all, I speak fast.
The Classically Podcast. Gang. Welcome to Classically Podcast, where we talk all things classical music.
I'll tell you what Marco started talking about. Those are 3 words. I'm like, if you don't leave me alone, I speak fast and my words don't come out all the time. Those are 3 words.
It's not. It's 1 word. Classically Podcast.
Right. It's hashtag clever. Y'all, we're leaving. We're not even we're not talking about anything.
We're not talking about Beethoven 1 anymore.
I forgot. Listen, don't forget to check us out at social media at Classically Black Podcast. That was 3 words. And follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all that. You know, we out here in these social media streets.
In here like swimwear. What you got, we got it.
Bye, y'all. Bye.